What's going on YouTube? OCD Free DC here. And what I got for your face balls today is a real steel. So let's just get right into this guy. Let's see what we got. Get that out of the way. So comes with the box, normal paperwork and shit. And you get this nice little microfiber cloth. It's branded real steel there. So, this ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. This happens to be the Real Steel G Slip. This one is the Knife Center exclusive. This is an O-Stop Hell design. Pretty well-known knife designer. And this is a slip joint that is rocking Micarta scales. And you can see like some little oil or something on there. And yeah, pretty simple, straightforward knife, really. So let's start out here with a couple of size comparisons. We'll check it out with the Benchmade Super Freak and the Benchmade Bug Out. So actually, about dead even between those two. So we're, definitely not talking about a short knife, that's for sure. And here it is against the Spyderco Para 3 Lightweight. And there it is up against the Spyderco Manix 2. So actually the Manix 2 looks to be about dead even. Pretty dang close. So definitely not a short slip joint, that's for sure. So what are we looking at here? We've got an overall length of 7.87 inches. We've got a handle length of 4.35 and a blade length of 3.52, which is also essentially your cutting edge is right at 3.5 inches as well. You've got a handle thickness of 420 thousandths, so pretty slim in this dimension here. Got a blade stock of 93 thousandths, so really nice thin slicey blade compared to the Bug Out is like around 90 thousandths, I think. So really nicely done on the blade there. I like especially for this style of knife, it should be a real nice thin slicey blade. So that was well done. On the handle height here, it's kind of hard to tell, but this thing does kind of hump up right along the back here. And so in its narrowest dimension, right up here at the pivot, it's just under 3/4 of an inch at 0.73. And in its tallest dimension, about right here, is 0.88 inches. And we've got a blade height that is ever so slightly over 3/4 of an inch. Give you some sort of idea. So you're looking at 3/4 of an inch in height and 3.5 inches in length. And behind the edge thickness, this thing is a full flat ground blade, and you do have this really nice fuller that runs probably 75 or 80% of the blade, and it is very functional for a blade pull, so you don't have to it's not a nail nick or anything, so you have it on both sides, works well to pinch the blade out. But behind the edge thickness, right back here at the heel, you got about 15 thousandths behind the edge, all the way out to about halfway. And then from this point to the very end of the tip, it gradually gets thicker out till it eventually hits 22 thousandths right at the very tip. You can see back here at the heel of the blade, they did a really nice job of missing the plunge grind. So that's really well done for whatever the reason. Most makers can't get that done these days. So, really good job. And if you didn't see already, this thing is rocking VG10 blade steel. You can see right there. So you got a deep carry wire style pocket clip. It's got, good ramp, good retention. It's a wire clip, so they work well. And it is, pretty much 100, full deep carry. It is reversible for right or left tip up carry. And this knife here, I'll close it for this. So across the spine, you can see here, you do have this backspacer slash tension bar, and it is polished, stainless, and it sits ever so slightly proud of the scales. I don't know if I'll be able to show that off or not, but you can definitely feel it. It definitely sticks up just a tiny bit above the scales, but it's nicely contoured and rounded, which, you know, makes it really comfortable. You do have some beveled edges on the micarta, which is really nicely done, and the texture on the micarta is the type that I really like. It's not polished micarta, you know, it's got some texture to it. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's grippy, yet being smooth. I know that just sounds weird, but anyway, that's what it is. So as far as hardware on this guy, you've got these really large pivot screws, which we're going to talk about that because I really don't think these are pivot screws. And then you've got similar type screw, just much smaller back here, that holds the pocket clip in. So you have one of those on each side. So, you know, from the exterior, all you can see are the two screws, and both are T8 hardware. So that's a positive. And when you operate the blade here, it actually has a 3/4 stop, which is something that's just a little bit different. You know, most of the time slip joints have a half stop, and they stop in this kind of position right here. This one here is a 3/4 stop. It stops right there. So kind of interesting in the operation there. I do like it. It works well. It lends itself, you know, that if you did have it fold up, it's going to stop before it actually folds up on your fingers, which is really nice. So yeah, you know, it's just a really functional piece that's micarta and VG10. So let's well, I guess let's look at this pivot here, and the reason why I was saying that I don't think that's actually a pivot screw. So if you look at the blade and the geometry here, it doesn't look to me like the blade is actually pivoting around that center where that T8 Torx is. So if you watch the blade and look at the way it pivots out, see that? There's no way that thing's actually pivoting around the center of that screw right there. So we're going to pull a side off of this guy and see what we're working with here, and see if we can see what's going on. So let me get a tool here. So we got the old TH driver. All right. Whoa. So it's got a nylon washer that's actually torn. Or I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or not, but you can see there that it's split. It almost feels like rubber, like an O-ring. It's not hard, it's soft. That's interesting. And then check this out. This is all dished out in there, and that screw is tiny. It's really interesting. So let me, see that? You can see the pivot screw there. So that's why that's dished out, is to make room for the head of that pivot screw, which is pretty interesting. All right, let's pull the back screw out here. Again, no Loctite, which is fantastic. Excellent. Again, screws are pretty small as far as the threaded area goes. One thing I didn't mention, you can see here, you do have a lanyard space here. It's very, very small. I don't think you're going to really get much of anything through there. You might be able to, you know, get a string through there or something, but that's about it. You're definitely not fitting like 550 paracord through there. But anyway, I'm not a lanyard guy, so I don't care. But it is nicely well hidden, and of course not going to bother anyone if you don't want to put a lanyard there. So let me see. Yeah, so the pivot is actually T6. And there is the pivot screw right there. And you can see that it did have a little bit of Loctite on it. It's like orange colored Loctite. Alright, hopefully we're going to be able to lift this scale off of here and see. Let's see what we see. Okay, so we've got a little bit of oil going on up here, and so we do have nested liners, and you can see there's your lanyard pin that sets in the micarta on both sides, and then you've got a couple additional milled out holes right here for pins to sit in. And here we go. Here's the knife. So it looks like, yeah, I don't know if you can tell or not, but this standoff back here for the pocket clip is D-shaped, and it looks like the liner is D-shaped as well. So that's nice. It's not free spinning. And then you've got a pin right here that's, providing those your two stationary points for your back spring. And then from here, this whole portion is going to be not fixed to the scales, so it can move up and down. So they did quite a bit of weight relieving in there. That's one thing I forgot to do, was weigh this thing. So we'll have to do that once I get it back together. But so yeah, how interesting is that? So you can see where the pivot center is, and then you've got the center line of this guy where that big flat screw goes into. So I'm not going to take it down any further than this right here, just because I don't want to have to mess around with the back spring. It's just, this thing's brand new. It's not worth messing that far with. I just wanted to get a look at it and check out and see what all's going inside there. So let's go ahead and throw this back on. Oop, about forgot my lanyard pin here. That would have been a damn shame if I would have. Can't go without the lanyard pin. Alright, let me get this back on here. Excellent. Beautiful. Get this pivot screw back in. Excellent. Let's see. Oh, put this back screw in. So this knife was the Knife Center exclusive, and this thing actually sold for like 30. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was either $34.95 or $39.95, one or the other. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but it was very, very cheap, and I am not 100% sure if they're still available or not. I would have assumed that they're going to get more. I think this thing was pretty popular, especially for how cheap it is. And I've got that screw just a little too tight here. So I think I had heard that these knives were going to be a lot more expensive than that when they came out in their true product release or something, because this was a brand really brand new thing offered by Knife Center, and it might even be as much as like $80 or something. So they released it in this version, and it was like a little pre-run thing for this. It was either 35 or 40 bucks. I can't remember. It was 30 something, but yeah, with the micarta and VG10, that thing's pretty bitchin' for sure. So let me throw this guy down here, and we will throw this, I guess, pivot cover on. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, it's definitely a large diameter screw there that covers up the pivot area. So, all right. It is a nice looking knife. You know, it's definitely a gentleman kind of classy carry. And I certainly love the micarta. You know, the micarta on this thing's really, really beautiful. And like I said, for a, you know, under $40 knife, it's really cool for sure. You know, I mean, yes, it's a budget piece, but it's a cool budget piece for sure. So let's get a scale out here. So we got 3.5 inches of blade length. Got an overall length of just under 8 inches. Let's see what we got for weight. 2.477 inches. So that's definitely inches. 2.477 ounces. And grams, we got 70.18. So there you go. Under 2.5 ounces, 3.5 inches of blade, a true 3.5 inches of cutting length. So to put that into perspective, you know, compared to the bug out, you can see the difference in size. Let's do this here since pocket clips are on opposite sides on these two guys. So you can see the difference there in size. And, you know, this guy is roughly the same weight actually as the Para 3 lightweight, I think. Actually, the lightweight might even be heavier. Let's check this out real quick. Para 3 lightweight, a 2.437. So these are about the exact same. So the real steel, G-slip, and the Para 3 lightweight, almost identical in weight, where the bug out is, it's under 2 if I remember correctly. Yeah, 1.88. So a little lighter on the bug out, but this thing feels so much better in hand. You know, that micarta is awesome, and it definitely, for $40, if you guys can find this thing for $40, I definitely jump on it, because it's a really cool one for sure. And like I said, I don't know if they're bringing them back or not, or what exactly is going on, but it's definitely a cool one. You know, it's got, you know, kind of a generic looking blade shape, a little bit of a drop point here, but it's really well done. It's pretty thin behind the edge, and just a good little slip joint user. So anyway, guys, that's about all I got for your face balls today. I hope you enjoyed that. Hanging out with the old G-slip, the OG. All right, well, have a good one, and we will catch you next time.